Hi folks, welcome back to Saving Miller. Here's another how-to for you today. So we've got a faucet here that has a severe leak back here. It's old, it's not a great faucet. However, we intend to completely redo the kitchen in the not too distant future. So we don't want to put a new faucet in, we want to just get one that's good and serviceable. So we have a used one here today. It's not real old, but I decided I would show you the process of putting it in here. It's a used one, like I said, so it doesn't necessarily have all the parts and things that we need, so we have to work with it a little bit and make sure that we can install it properly. So I'll show you what you have to do to take this one out. We'll look underneath there, we'll take a look at what's there, and then I'll take it out, show you how that's done. An odd thing that I encountered here is that these supply lines, these water supply lines, are too short. And this is kind of ridiculous. I don't know who actually has a setup where this would work. Like, these are really short. So what I'm going to have to do is put an extension on here with this little straight coupling. So we'll go like that. Just had to go to the hardware store and do this. This comes off. So not too big of a deal, but it's just another fitting. It's another potential for leaks. So it's not great, but it's going to work for us. So we're going to take this one out and we're going to install this one. Let's get started. Here we are under the sink. I'm not going to lie. It's a tight space. This is very unpleasant. So if you can afford to hire a plumber, I highly recommend it. Otherwise, you're going to be like me, stuck down here under the sink, on your back, on your side, no room to work. But here we are. So it's okay. Somebody has to do it, right? So here's the cold supply. So we're going to turn this off. This is going to be the first step. Got that turned off, and then we have to unscrew this one. Turn the other one off. And in this case, we do have a dishwasher supply on the hot side. So that's the T that comes off here. I just installed that a couple of months ago, so we're going to need to remove this one. This is the one that goes to the sink. Now up above us, this is a fairly traditional setup for a faucet. So we've got on this side, this is the line for the supply line that goes to the faucet. So that's where the water comes out for the faucet. And then we have the handle over here that actually has the valve in it. And we need to take those off. So up there, you can see right there is a nut. We have to unscrew that thing to get it off. There's also a nut right behind there. There, you can see it right there. We have to unscrew that one. And that bracket is what actually holds the faucet to the bottom of the sink. This is not fastened to the countertop, it's fastened to the sink. So it is a cast iron sink, and you can see that big square bracket that goes over the hole. So next I'm going to loosen those. I can't actually show it to you because the room is just too tight. But I'll get my adjustable wrench and we'll get those loosened. This one I'm going to take out as well, and this is just a plastic piece, so we'll unscrew this one. So we've got the three pieces that we're going to take out at this point. Don't ever become a plumber. There's just nothing good about this.
And I made me daddy.
You're being a great helper.
Yes, I'm taking your weight up here.
That's very helpful. I appreciate it.
He's teaching you how to do it, so then he doesn't have to do it anymore.
Okay, so we got the old faucet out. This was very unpleasant. Here you can see where the nut was on this long thread here. It was up at this end, so I had to unscrew the thing the whole way down to get that plate off, and then we could just pull this up and out of the hole there. So you can see this is fairly typical of a slightly older one where there's a copper water supply line here, and then you connect a flexible line on the bottom. So I had to take this one off underneath just so we could pull it out. So now that thing's out of there, and hopefully it will not trouble us again. So now we have the new one here. I've got my extension on here. It's tightened down. this is a 5/8 inch piece here. So if you don't want to use the adjustable wrench, I would recommend having a 5/8 inch open end wrench around so you can adjust that. So this thing is now ready to go back in. So this faucet is made so that the top part pulls out. And so this piece connects to this piece. But in order to install it, we actually have to take this loose, we have to take this off, and put it in there, and then put this up through there, tighten it down, get it in place, and then we're going to need to tighten this back on. So that will be the process. I will get this in there. Well, I ran into an unfortunate problem here. So this little plate is what goes up against the bottom of the sink to secure it. And then this nut goes on here, like that. However, I have a gap up on this side. The sink is only about 1/2 inch thick, so this needs to be up there. And this entire space is smooth. So this thing cannot actually tighten up against that. I'm not sure why this is the case. I really don't know. But it is a used faucet, like I said. So I had to come up with a solution. Fortunately, this thing is sized where it is just right for a piece of 1/2 inch copper pipe. So now I'll be able to do this and tighten that up there. I'm going to be the one that takes this thing out in a few years. So this is actually going to save a lot of time because I don't have to run this nut all the way up the threads here. So now I've got that sorted out. I'm ready to actually put it in the hole finally. All right, so here we go. Here we go. It's a pretty tight squeeze. So we want to make sure that we get these things oriented properly so that this thing can slide in and out the way it's supposed to. So if we get them tangled up, if we get them tangled up, it's not going to work. Okay, this thing. Now it would have been better to put that little plastic ring up from the bottom, but I didn't want to take the spring off of that line. But I got it in eventually. So it's really important to make so those hoses are lined up. You see how they're pretty nice in there, that way the pull out works well. Now we're ready to go underneath and put the little plate back on. And then we're going to slide that piece of copper up on it and secure the nut. Here's the view from the bottom side. So first we slide the little plate on, and then in this case we follow it with the piece of copper that I'm using as an adapter. And it's a pretty tight space. It's kind of hard to get everything in there with the 3 lines coming down. There's just only about 3 or 4 inches between the sink and the wall. And it's even harder to do this holding a camera. So I think we're going to have to put the camera down and come back to this. Now we're ready to hook the line onto the faucet supply. So this is the hose that goes up to where the water comes out. So this is past the faucet valve, and that thing just slides right on there. The yellow piece will just slide on there, clicks into place. This has become fairly common for modern faucets. And you want to make sure you have a good connection there. If you don't, of course, you're going to have a major leak. But this is basically a go or no go. So once you push it on, give it a little tug to make sure that it's there. And then at the top there, we also need to make sure that the pull-out line is free and clear. Okay, now we're ready to hook up the water supply lines. There's the hot, here's the cold, and so we're going to take these compression fittings and thread them on there. We'll get them finger tightened, and then we'll take a wrench and tighten them up. Now,
I don't have anything marked on here, so I don't actually know which is the hot and cold side. Now our water supply lines are hooked up, everything else is hooked up, so we're ready to turn the valves back on. So we do want to open these a little bit slowly. Now we're ready for the cold side. That's just a quarter turn. So we got that on. No leaks so far. Come up top, check it out, and we have water. So we're back down underneath, just double checking, making sure we don't have any drips there. The compression fittings need to be tight, and this was also, as I mentioned, a used faucet, so I'm not real confident about it. But we got it figured out. Looks like we've got water, and now we have these two holes. Folks, we got this thing installed. We had some issues, you saw, solved the problem, took care of it. I don't know if the original maybe had a piece that was missing, but we got that taken care of. We also moved the soap dispenser over here on the other side because that's going to work better for us. So now the thing works. I got the hot and cold on the correct side, and we are good to go. We don't have water pouring out here anymore. It's a pretty decent faucet. Not that expensive, but right there's the brand name, Grohe. I don't know. Maybe no one knows. It's one of those mysteries. So there you have it. Good luck with yours, and Saving Miller is out.